this lecture we are going to create a template as a basis for our screens. A great template is easy to use for the operator and has the ability to break down a complex machine into an intuitive, coherent interface for the user. So let's get started. Screen templates are situated in the tree structure under Screen Management. Under Screen Management, we open the Templates group, and you can see here that TIA Portal has automatically created a default template called Template 1. Let's rename this first to Template, since we are only going to create one template for our HMI application. So we click on the name, we press F2, and we rename. Now if we open this template, it's obviously still empty. There are no objects, elements, or controls here yet, and it's up to us now to go to work on this empty canvas. We're going to add 3 layers in total to our template. At the bottom layer, we are going to add our background graphic. The middle layer will contain the main graphics, and in the top layer we will have our text. This will all get more clear in a second. We start with our bottom layer, the background of our template. Throughout the course, I will be using custom graphics which I have created especially for this course. In order to achieve a modern look for my applications, I always create most of my graphics myself. You can of course just use the standard colored squares, rectangles, etc. that TIA provides, but if you really want your application to stand out, create your own graphics. At the end of this course, there is a bonus lecture introducing you to the free software that I use for creating great-looking vector graphics for my own HMI applications. So don't forget to check that out. Now if you look at the resource section of this lecture, you can see that I have attached a zip file called graphics.zip containing all the custom graphics created for this course. We will start now by adding these graphics to our HMI application. All graphics for application will be stored in the tree structure under Languages and Resources. Now it's worth noticing here that the Languages and Resources group is a group for the whole project Refill HMI work, not just for the HMI application HMI Refill. Let's open our project graphics and start adding our custom graphics. I haven't found a way yet to import custom graphics in bulk. If any of you out there has a better way of importing a group of graphics in one action, please share it with us. To add a graphic, we double-click on Add New and we select the first graphic in the list. Now we repeat this for all the other graphics. We're going to speed up a little bit here to save time and to make sure you guys don't get bored. There, all done. If you have a quick look here at the names of the graphics, you can see that I've used a system for assigning names to my graphics. I start the name with the function of the graphic, followed by the definition of the graphic. So for example, I have lots of graphics for buttons, so each graphic starts with the abbreviation BTN for button, followed by the description for that button. This system of naming the graphics makes the process of adding graphics later on very intuitive. You'll see. So now that we have our graphics added to our library, let's go and add the background to our template. To add a background, we are going to use our toolbox here on the right side of the screen. The toolbox contains 3 important sections: basic objects like lines, rectangles, text, and graphic views, elements like buttons, I/O fields, bars, and sliders, and controls like an alarm view, a recipe view, or a user administration view. To add a background graphic, we simply drag and drop the graphic view object onto our template. There we go. We have added a graphic view to our template. Let's open its properties by double-clicking on the object. Now here on the General, we are going to select the background graphic that we would like to use. So we click on Background Template, and we've got a very small square with a background on our template. Well, it's a great start, but obviously not the final result. We still need to scale and position our background, and we do this under Layout. Here we can change the position and the size of our graphic view. We could manually adjust the size here, but since I have made all my custom graphics in the correct size already, the easier way to resize our background is by using the Fit to Size here on the right side. We are going to adjust the object size to the size of our graphic. There we go. Now our background has a size of 800 times 480 pixels, which is the original size of my custom graphic. Now we just need to position it correctly, and we do this by entering 0 for X and 0 for Y. And there we go. Our background graphic is sized and positioned correctly. So that's it for our bottom layer. Now that we've mentioned layers a couple times, let me show you how to assign a layer to an object. In the properties of each object, there is a property tab called Miscellaneous. In here you can assign a layer to your object. There are 32 layers to choose from, starting with layer 0, which is the lowest layer, to layer 31, which is the highest layer. To manage your different layers, you select Layout from the vertical menu bar on the right side of the screen. Here you can see the different layers and the objects which belong to them. At the moment we have only created one object, our background, and you can see that it is situated under layer 0, the bottom layer. You can drag objects from one layer to another. For example, let's drag our background from layer 0 to layer 1. Now what I personally really like here is that you can rename the layers. These names are individual for each screen, so you can set up different layer names for each of your screens. Let's add, for example, background to the layer 1 name, graphics to the layer 2 name, and text to the layer 3 name. By giving each of these layers a distinctive name, we have made it very easy to recognize layers and to add objects to the correct layer. Finally, there is the option to change the visibility of each layer in the offline project, except for layer 0. These visibility properties are only there as a tool to help you create applications. In a runtime application, the layers of your application will always be visible. So if we click on the visibility property of layer 1, you can see that the objects under layer 1, which is only our background, become invisible. There will be more examples later on in the course on how to assign and use layers to your advantage. Now let's continue with the design of our template. On top of our background, we are going to add the main template graphics. To start with, I am not going to go into detail. I am just going to allocate some space for them so we get an overview of the main layout. We are going to create 4 rectangles here. One rectangle to visualize our top bar, one rectangle to visualize our screen navigation area, one rectangle for our start-stop buttons, and the last rectangle for our main screen content area. To add a rectangle, we drag and drop the rectangle object from the toolbox. Since new objects automatically are assigned to layer 0 and our background is assigned to layer 1 at the moment, our new object is created underneath of our background. So let's change this. First we make the background invisible here in our layout options. Now we select the rectangle and under miscellaneous, we assign layer 2, our graphics layer, to the rectangle. We make layer 1 visible again, and you can see that the rectangle is on top of the background now. Let's change the properties for this rectangle. Under appearance, we are removing the border, so 0 for the width. Now we need to assign a color for the background of our rectangle. As you might remember from the previous lecture, we have selected 3 main colors for our application. Light gray and dark blue for contrast, and finally a dark gray color to add some variation. Since we are going to use these colors quite a bit throughout the application, let's add them as custom colors to our color palette. We do this by opening the color palette here and selecting More Colors. Our light gray color has the RGB code 228, 228, 228, so we enter those values for red, green and blue. And then we save this custom color by assigning it to the first color slot here in our user-defined area. Now we add our dark blue color with RGB code 03485 and we assign that to our second user-defined color slot. Finally, we add our dark gray color, RGB code 97, 104 and 125 to the third slot. Great, so now we don't need to remember these RGB codes all the time because we have saved our 3 main colors in the user-defined color slots. Let's exit this color screen and let's assign our custom light gray color to the background. Now that we're done with the color, let's go check out the layout. Under Layout, we change the size to a length of 692 pixels and a height of 38 pixels. Finally, we need to position this rectangle correctly on the screen. To position objects on a screen, TIA Portal gives you 3 options, and these options can be selected under the Layout Management. So let's open that one first. Under the category Grid, you can select the Layout mode. If you select Snap to Lines, objects that you move around on the screen will snap to lines of other objects on the screen. If you select Snap to Grid, the objects that you move will snap to the grid of the screen. Below here there are some extra options for the grid, where you can define the grid size and the visibility of the grid. Finally, you have the option to deactivate snapping by selecting None here. If you select None as the layout mode, your objects will not snap to anything when being moved around. They can be moved around freely with a 1 pixel precision. The easiest way to move our rectangles around is by snapping to the grid. So we select this option here. Now we drag our rectangle to the top left corner of the screen, and because we are snapping to the grid, our rectangle can be placed perfectly without showing any visible spaces to the top or to the left of the rectangle. So this is the basic layout for our top bar. We will build the top bar in detail in a later lecture. For now, we are just allocating a space for it in our template layout. Next up, our screen navigation area. We could just drag and drop another rectangle from the toolbox, but it is much faster to start with a copy from the existing rectangle. This way we can skip most of the setup, which saves us time. So we start by selecting our top bar rectangle here, and we copy it, Ctrl C, followed by Ctrl V. Our screen navigation area will have a width of 104 and a height of 312, and we position it all the way in the top right corner. For our Start-Stop buttons area, we start again by copy-pasting an existing rectangle and changing the layout properties afterwards. We keep the same width as the screen navigation area, and we change the height to 160 pixels. Finally, we move it to the bottom right corner of the screen. Now we are just missing the allocation of our main content area. We start again by copy-pasting an existing rectangle, and now we go and change the properties. For this main area, I would just like to show a thin, elegant frame without a background around the main area. To achieve this, we go to Appearance, we define a border with 4, and we assign our custom light gray color. Finally, we make the background transparent. The only thing missing now is the size and position of our frame. Under Layout, we set the width to 688 pixels and the height to 434 pixels. Since the frame needs to be in a specific position, we are not going to use the Snap to Grid function here. Instead, we are manually assigning the X and Y values, 4 for X and 42 for Y. So that's it for our main area frame. Let's move the Start-Stop button area up a couple pixels so it aligns nicely with the bottom of our frame. So far we have added a background and we have visualized the layout of our template using rectangles. In our final step, we are going to add some descriptive text on top of each rectangle to clarify each area of the layout. To add text, we drag and drop a text field from our toolbox. The text will be on top of the rectangle, so we assign layer 3, our text layer, to it. Under General Properties, we change the size to 15 pixels. Under Appearance, we change the color to our main dark blue color. And under Text Format, we change the alignment to horizontal centered. Now we change the text name and we copy-paste the text to the different areas of our template. So this will be the basic layout of our template. In our layout management, you can see that the background is assigned to layer 1, our bottom layer, the rectangles are assigned to layer 2, our middle layer, and the text that we've just added are assigned to layer 3, our top layer. We can toggle now the visibility of each layer to get a feeling for how our template is layered. By using layers here, we have created a logical structure in the design of our template. Now that we got our basic layout in place, we are going to use the next couple of lectures to build each of our template areas in detail. In the next lecture, we're going to start by building the screen navigation area. Thank you for now. I'll see you in the next lecture.